Next up, we have Psych, known only as Psych.
Thank you.
Gotcha.
All right.
He is a returning speaker to the 21 convention. He was an attendee in 2008, came back in 2009, gave a great speech, and he actually just spoke in Stockholm at our first European convention. One of the few speakers to do both back to back. He's one of the best coaches around, and it's awesome to have him here. Thanks for coming, man. Kick some butt.
Awesome. Hey, thanks for having me, man. Man, yeah, I mean, it's been a wild ride. I got to do the Stockholm 21 convention where I talked about my VI system and, you know, what I teach for guys to get good. This speech, though, is looking a little bit different. This is how to get good. This is the stuff I had to implement myself from the very start to now. A lot of speakers here were talking about all kinds of great stuff, talking about ways to implement stuff in the field. By the way, I actually want to say something. It's so cool seeing a room full of all faces I know. That's one cool thing about this convention, that I don't think there's anyone here I haven't actually personally worked with and talked to, you know? But I want to give you guys something on how to get good. Because when I first started this, I had to come up with a plan. I had to come up with a system that would allow myself to implement all the stuff that's out there, because there's a lot. There's a lot of different things that you guys are going to be hearing about and learning about, and it's going to clog your head a lot, you know? And you have to have a progression, a steady type of progression. So I want to show you guys what that looks like. Now, to do that, I want to show you guys where I came from. This was me, yeah. This was me thank you. This was me 4 years ago. I don't know how bad you guys think you are, but if you weren't playing Magic the Gathering every single weekend by yourself in your mom's basement, you weren't as dorky as me. If you cannot have an intelligent debate on who would win in a battle, the Avengers or the X-Men, you're not as dorky as me. If you do not know all the names of Han Solo and Leia Solo's kids, and Luke Skywalker's kids, Ben Skywalker, you're not as dorky as I am. I still got a little bit of a Buddha belly on me, but I used to be 35 pounds heavier. I could not talk to anyone. I had 2 friends from high school. I mean, it was bad when I got into this. Some of you guys talk about coming into this as a natural. I was not a natural. I never done a code approach. I don't think, the concept was just foreign to me. The whole idea was just ridiculous. The only way I could talk to girls was if I met them basically online, right? So I talk about this in my previous speech I did last year, like a lot about my progression and whatnot. However, that did change. The fact that I'm here shows that this kind of thing changed. A lot of you guys have seen me in field. You've seen me do some stuff yourselves. You've seen me coaching you and you implementing some of this stuff by yourself. I had to go out time and time again to make that happen. And afterwards, some of this stuff has blown my mind. Being a dating coach for the MTV show Made, getting the Best New POA Award in 2008, or just recently, the Best Natural Game, which blew my mind again. Because, like I said, I was definitely not a natural, right? Which reinforces again that a natural is not something you're born with. A natural is just a guy that's progressively figured this stuff out. Any one of you can become a natural. There's not any crazy thing to it. It's just going out there and getting this stuff. More importantly, some other stuff, I used to formerly work with AFC Adam Lyons and POA training. Those are my roots. And now I'm with Psych of Game. That's my own website. You can look me up there, right? But from this guy to this guy, it was a crazy journey. It was a crazy journey. I've had some of the best nights of my life, and I've had some of the worst nights in my life. I'm not one to talk about sexual exploits, especially on camera, so I'm not going to get into some of the crazy stuff I've done. Some of the amazing shit that even to this day I just think, like, really? Like, that just really happened? But I will share with you guys a bad moment in my life, a bad time of learning this. I remember one point, about a year into my progression, I was gaming this girl, and I was doing everything right. Everything this community told me to do, I was doing it correctly. I had the social proof, I had guys giving me drinks, I befriended her friend, I got her way, she was all into me, everything was, like, this was meant to happen. Logistics were perfect, she was coming back to my place, it was already set up, everything was perfect. She was a 9, literally she was a 9. She was a gorgeous girl, just my type, right? And I'm thinking, done deal. This is game. I was on cloud 9, right? I take this girl and I take her to an Irish pub. And in the Irish pub, there's some band on stage, and the lead singer of the band looks at the girl, and he's like, So he points to himself, he points to her, and he points down. She immediately turns to me and she goes, I think I know that guy. Uh-oh. So she runs off and she starts going to talk to him. I lose her. 10 minutes, I do not see where they are. I go outside to find this girl, and then I see her and him walking away arm in arm. Just 10 minutes. I was gaming her for the last 2 hours, and very well, mind you, right? I followed them because I wanted to see where this was going. And he led her into his car, and within 5 minutes, the car started rocking. I was crushed. I actually wrote up a whole post, and I sent it to every guru I could find, because keep in mind, I was still learning in this phase. I wasn't an instructor just yet. I wrote it to every single guy I knew, and the title of it was, What's Wrong With Me That Can't Be Fixed? Because I did everything correctly. And I remember at the end of that night, I just sat on a bench trying to figure out where I did wrong, because I knew I did everything properly. I did everything according to the book. And when I realized that, I realized that just has to tell me there's something wrong with just me. It's not, if this works for other people, then something's just inherently wrong with me. And I just started crying. And at that moment, I have never felt more hopeless in my life. And on top of that, it started raining. So I want you to picture that. Me, just sitting on a bench, bawling, getting rained on, right after this just happened. Most guys here will talk about the most crazy successes, the foursome with a nun or something, I don't know, whatever. Like the most crazy, stories, whatever. But it's important for you guys to hear the other side of it. I want you guys to hear the time where I didn't get the girl, where it was not the most beautiful thing ever, right? Because you're gonna go through that. But you know what? It's all worth it. Because I've had those moments, those crazy, similar things to that, where it was just like, this is surreal. And to me, the juice is worth the squeeze. And that's a huge question you're gonna have to ask yourselves when you're going through this, because it's gonna get frustrating, it's gonna be challenging, it's gonna be tough, going day after day trying to implement this stuff, right? But I wanna help you make that as small a time as possible. I wanna help you with that learning process. The problem though is you have bad odds. 97% of guys would never truly become good at this. I actually saw Fuji, say something similar. He said 95% of guys, so maybe me and him can meet eye to eye and just say 96, whatever. But point is, this is a really well-known thing in this community. 97% of guys will never truly become good at this. What that means is that this lucky bastard right here is going to become amazing and screw the rest of you. Only him, no one else. He's like, hey, only him. All of you are going to fail. That's what that means. As much as you think like, oh, well, we're all improving. You're going to all improve. I don't think anyone comes into this and doesn't get some kind of improvement out of it. It might be small, it might be big, but there's going to be some improvement. But only 97% of guys truly feel like, yeah, I just got this handled. This is awesome. So you have to come into this realizing it is bad odds. It's worse than trying to bankrupt Vegas. However, there is that 3%. Right? There are guys who do this. It might not be the best odds, but there are those guys out there. So this whole talk, what I want to do for you guys is show you how you can become part of that 3%. I'm going to teach you the stuff that I had to implement from day one. These were things I did from the very first month of getting into this. When I didn't really know game, I was just figuring it all out. But I remember doing these things, and I want you to start implementing them yourself. So how to beat the odds. In my experience, there were 5 key things that put me into 3%. The first one, anyone is going to talk about. Anyone worth a damn will mention this and let you guys know this is important, and that's practice. But there's a lot of stuff people don't mention with practice I'm going to get into. Number 2 is the basics, keeping them sharp and never letting those go faulty, ever. Number 3 is purpose. Understanding the purpose of why we do the things we're doing, other than just reading stuff and going, okay, well, something told me to do it. Number 4 is leading. Leading the set to where we need to take it, progressing it always. And number 5 is finding that mentor. Finding someone to help guide you and show you the way. If you have these 5 things and you really focus on them, I can almost promise you, you will be in that 3%. Because a lot of people might get 3, might get 4, but if you implement all 5, that's all I really had. From day one, that's all I was focused on. So let's go into each one of these. Practicing. These are some quotes I found that I really like and that resonate with a lot of the problems I'm seeing in this community. When you are not practicing, remember someone somewhere is practicing, and when you meet him, he will win. That band guy knew his game. He knew, let me practice my guitar every day, and girls will want to get with me, right? He knew his game is just, let me point to a girl, come to me, whatever it is, instantly escalate, right? He practiced, man. He probably practiced that guitar to be the shit and be that awesome, band guy all the time. Anything, he won. You're all out practicing right now, yeah? Is anyone here not practicing? Cool. But now I want you to look around. Actually, I want you guys to look around because all the rest of these guys are practicing also. Are they practicing more than you? If you met one of these other guys in a club and you're both going for the same girl, who would win? Now, obviously, the community, we want to, be there for each other, but there's other guys out there, there's naturals out there that are practicing right now. While you're in this room, they're out there talking to girls. Any moment you're not practicing, you're not getting better at this, then someone else is. And when you find a girl, your dream girl, the girl that might become the mother of your children, do not let it happen where you lose her to some other guy. Because even if you put in that 1 extra hour of field work in, that's all it takes. Because he'll know that 1 extra little thing that will get her to go to him and not you. If that's not enough motivation for you to be out there doing this stuff, I don't know what is. It's not necessarily the amount of time you spend at practice that counts, it's what you put into the practice. What that means is I will see these guys, they'll go into the field, right? And they'll just think, as long as I'm in a club, I'm practicing right now. I'm getting field time, I'm getting field experience. No, you're not. You're just in a club. Practice means being in a set, talking to a girl. That's what that means. In fact, I'm going to give you all a challenge right now. I'm going to guess that a lot of you guys might think you practice a lot, right? And you probably say, maybe you'll say, I go out 4 hours a night. I practice 4 hours each night. Maybe that's a lot to you, maybe that's little to you, whatever it is, I don't know. But let's say you go out and practice 4 hours each night. I'm going to give you a challenge. I want you to go out and I want you to get a stopwatch, all right? And every time you go into a set, click your little stopwatch. Every time you're done talking to the girl, click it again. And you do not stop that night until that clock watch at 4 hours. I guarantee you're going to realize, man, this is a lot more practice than I used to be doing. It's going to be a lot more. You want 4 hours of practice? That's what that means. You get your stopwatch and you spend 4 hours in set. Any in-between time does not count. Hunting around is not practice. All right. Practice without improvement is meaningless. Another huge common mistake I keep seeing. I know a lot of guys who are approach machines. They will run more sets than I will. They'll be nonstop practicing, but there's no improvement. They're just doing the same stuff over and over and over. And in the wise words of Albert Einstein, those who do the same thing over and over expecting different results, that's the definition of insanity. So when I practice, I'm always looking at what I did right, what I did wrong. What can I take away from this? What can I experiment and change next time? I remember one time, I can't believe I'm saying this on camera. I remember one time, just for the hell of it, I approached a girl like this. I had no idea why. I just wanted to experiment something. It came into my head, me and my boy Elevate were just like, let's do that one time. Let's see what happens. It didn't work, but the point is, I now know that for a fact. I experimented it. And the funny thing is, 9 times out of 10, if you do something like that 10 times, 9 times out of 10, it won't work. It'll be just ridiculous, and it'll be, of course. But that 1 time out of 10, That 1 time out of 10, you'll do something that you think this is never going to work. It's ridiculous. Like, how would this ever mean anything? And then it will, and your mind will blow. I'm not doing it for those 9 times out of 10. I'm doing it for the 1 time out of 10. I'm always experimenting. I'm always playing around with stuff. If you keep doing the same thing over and over, if your opener is the same thing every single time, and you still feel like you have a problem opening, change it. Change it up. Try new stuff. It's okay. All right. Practice, practice, practice until you eventually get numb on rejections. There is massively good inner game stuff out there. For example, Orlando Owen, I have a good friend of mine. Some of the stuff he does is insanely good. However, I will say this. The number one thing I found for my inner game, the main thing, was basically going out and just doing it, changing my actions. You want to change your belief, change your actions. It's 2 things. You change your thoughts and you change your actions. Right? Because if you're the guy that's approaching girls, no matter what, then you can't look at yourself as a guy that doesn't approach girls, because you do it. And all of a sudden, it's going to click and you're going to think, yeah, you know what, I am that guy. Hell. Right? Before I ever made out with a girl in a club, I had a lot of inner game insecurities about making out with a girl in a club. Why? Because I wasn't that guy. So what I had to do? I had to do something incongruent. I had to make out with a girl in a club and just shatter my belief. And after I did it, I started doing it a few times, I realized, yeah, I am the guy that can make out with a girl in a club. That's not that big of a deal. I'm the guy that can take a girl home the same night I meet her. But before that happens, you're not that guy. It's pointless thinking to yourself, I have abundance mentality, right? You're trying to fool yourself thinking that. No, you want abundance mentality? Get abundance, and then the mentality will come. That's when you're going to get the abundance mentality or any of this stuff. But this point is, if you want to get over that anxiety, that approach anxiety, any of that stuff, just do it till it's numb. I remember one time, there was a girl in front of me, and this is when I was really starting to trying to get over, like, trying to be a natural or some stuff. And I went up to the girl, and my legs literally went like this. I thought it was something like done in a cartoon or something. I didn't think it was real, but my legs started just shaking like crazy, right? Not only that, anything I said was just gibberish. It's like, I like to maybe I was just like, oh, fuck. Right? Because I didn't know what I was doing. But I did it anyways. I went for it anyways. Because here's the thing. It takes courage to do some of this stuff. I'm going to get more into that a little bit later. All right, next one. The only way a kid is going to practice is if it's total fun for him, and it was for me. This is a huge one. This is a game. If you're not having fun, you're not playing the game. Practice doesn't mean going and working. You're not punching in your card or whatever. Have fun with it. Enjoy it. You're practicing one of the things that men have loved since the dawn of time. You're flirting with girls. Don't lose sight of that. Like, it's not a job. It's not supposed to be this big stressful thing in your lives. We're having fun with women. We're playing around with them. And it is a lot of fun when you take it from the right angle. But if you're taking up as these personal offenses and all this stuff, it's going to hurt, and then you're going to beat yourself up. I just got interviewed recently, and one of the questions was, Psych, how do you feel when you get rejected? And I told him, well, I actually never got rejected. And he goes, wait, this I want to hear. Well, you never got rejected? Oh, you're some big shot. I'm like, well, let me explain. See, I never got rejected. The only thing that ever got rejected was my game. Psych myself never got rejected. She doesn't know me. All she knows was my approach. All she knows was the words I said, the body language I did, or whatever it is. I can go up to a girl right now and just be really like timid and meek and say some stupid thing, and I'll get rejected, right? Is that Psych getting rejected, or is that the approach I just did? So I never took it as a personal offense. It's a game. It's supposed to just be fun. I'm just playing around with it. So I want you guys to adopt that same kind of mentality. Finally, you can't hire someone to practice for you. I know a lot of guys who will just throw a lot of money at this problem and think, okay, I'll be done. If I just, put money at this, then I'm good, right? That's not going to do it for you. What I'm here for, or what any of these coaches are here for, is to guide you, is to show you what it's going to take. What's going to get you good is to take the teachings that we give you, and then you practice them, and you implement them. But just paying, in fact, if I felt a guy would just pay me and thought, you know what, let me just do this, not putting any work in, but if I just pay Psych, I'll get a really crazy game and I'll be good. I don't want your money. Don't take my boot camps. Because I truly care about this stuff. I truly want to see guys get good because of where I came from. Because I know the struggles that take place with it. And if I see a guy coming from that angle where it's like, I don't want to do the work, well, guess what? I did the work. So if you're just going to be lazy about it, I don't want to deal with you then. So don't throw money at the problem, but at the same time, no, there is help. There's still help out there, and it's okay to do it, but it's going to be ultimately up to you each and every time. It's up to you. All right, Karate Master. All right, so now I want to share with you guys a little story. Once upon a time, there was this old karate master, right? And everyone sought out his teachings. And a student went up to the karate master and said, Master, I want you to teach me how to do tornado kicks, to break a board with my head, to counter any attack. The master says, first, I'll teach you to punch. The student goes, I don't care about that. No. See, I want to jump up buildings like Jackie Chan. I want to tear a man's heart out using only 2 fingers. I want to use my dick as a nunchuck, right? The master says, well, first, I'll teach you to punch. The man gets angry and red in the face, and he goes, I already know how to punch. The master says, yeah? Okay, show me. The student punches the master as hard as he can. The master doesn't move. He doesn't flinch. Then the master, quick as a snake, punches a guy, sends him flying 5 feet back. He walks over to him, looks down, and says, first, I'll teach you to punch. What this tells me is it all comes down to the basics. Yes, it's sexy to try to be talking about, how to get a threesome, how to do in-venue lays, how to systematically game Megan Fox. Working on it. But what it comes down to really is the basics, because without these, everything falls apart. It will. So what are the basics? There's a lot of them, actually, but there's 4 key ones that I always watch out for. One is body language. Another one is just opening and transitioning, just getting the conversation going so that you can run a game. Getting just basic interest. I don't mean, it doesn't even have to be super crazy attraction. Just getting your interest in talking to you. Just getting her like, I want to be part of this conversation. This is cool. Just that basic interest. You have to know how to do that consistently. Getting numbers. Briefly on the whole getting numbers thing, how many guys feel they have a problem with phone games or get flaked on? Problems getting day 2 set up, yeah? A lot of people come to me with this problem of phone game and whatnot, and what I find it comes down to is not so much the phone game is the problem, it's how they get the numbers. Because usually what these guys will do is, they'll come up to a girl and they'll be like, oh yes, I got a lot of attraction, yeah, let me get you a number, put that in there, right? And walk away, now I got a number. Victory. But there was no plan for it. Why did you get the number? What was your reason? Anytime I get a number, I have a damn good reason for getting it. That's the point of the number. Otherwise, she's going to know that, yeah, he just wanted my number, now is it. If I get a number, it's because I already set up the day 2. The number is an afterthought. So that's one thing that's already going to drastically improve your flake ratio if you set up the day 2 when you meet her. Set up a time, set up a place, and then get the number just as an afterthought, just to confirm it. You want to really check out how solid and sick your game is? Set up the day 2 when you meet her and don't even get her number and see if she comes. That will be a solid game. Very solid. But so the whole point of the number is literally, so technically it's not even needed, but that's what it's mainly used for. And staying in sit after numbers, a lot of different ways I do of how to get the number correctly. I'm going to go backtrack to body language. I want to do a quick drill with you guys because I know it's been a long convention. I know I'm the last one up here. Best for last. Okay. Yeah, but I know it's been a long convention, whatnot, so I want to get the juices flowing. So everyone stand up real quick. I want everyone to get as alpha as possible. I want everyone to get the most alpha body language you can. String in the head. Oh, this guy. Okay, string in the head. Chest out. Shoulder now, and keep it structured and ridge, really alpha, right? I want you to take a deep breath and just get as comfortable now in that posture. That's it. That's your go-to. When you get in the alpha positioning and you just get as comfortable as you can, that's good body language. You can break it down to a billion complex rules, but if you just know that what the alpha positioning is and getting comfortable, you're good. Now let's try it seated down for a second. Everyone sit down. Now close your eyes. Everyone sit down and close your eyes. And again, get super alpha. Spread yourself, really take up space. Come to man. Don't grope each other. I don't know what that is. This is for women. All right, close your eyes. And then again, just get as comfortable now as possible. Just totally relax. All right, now open your eyes. If you're looking around, you're going to see a lot of relaxed, chill, confident guys. That's the whole thing. All my teaching, I try to keep it as simple as possible. I'm not trying to give 1,000, psychs, 100 rules to body language. That's it. All right, opening and transitioning. I bet a lot of guys here know how to open, right? Maybe you deal with some approach anxiety, but everyone thinks like, yeah, I know how to open. I'm pretty good at it. I got that handled, right? Bullshit. And you want to know why it's bullshit? Because everyone I teach, everyone I talk to, I will always spot something wrong. Maybe they're going a little too direct. Maybe it's too much personal space. You'll spot it too. You can see a lot of it in the eyes, actually. The eyes are the window of the soul. I could look at someone's eyes when they approach me, and I'll know if there's something going on in their head, if they're being malicious about it, if they're genuine or not, if they're cold and calculating. I'll know within 5 minutes, I'll size someone up and know exactly what's going through their head. And especially through the opening stage, you want to come off solid. Because let's look at opening for a second. With opening, it's one of those controversial topics. Because on one hand, it's one of the most important things, but on the other, it's one of the least important things, right? It's the most important because you have to do it. And how you open is going to, whether it's going to hook and give you time to run this set properly and transition to run this set properly, or it's just going to flop. On the other hand, it's not really that important because, hell, I could just fart on a girl now to open her, right? Like anything will really open. But there is a major importance from this. And the major importance is that if I asked all the girls I knew this one question, and I urge you guys to ask any girls you know the same question. Within the first 30 seconds of meeting a girl, do you know within the first 30 seconds of meeting a guy, do you know if you want to sleep with him or not? Not saying you will sleep with him, because you might mess it up later on, but do you know if you would want to sleep with him? Every time they say yes, like the vast majority. That means within 30 seconds, a girl has already decided, yeah, you know what, I probably would sleep with this guy. I don't know about you guys, but I want to be in that 30%. I want to be the guy that gets a yes. Because if I get a yes, all that means is I just need to not fuck it up. If I just don't screw that up, I'm going to get the girl. If I get a no, now I got an uphill battle. I got to change that all around, right? So it is important in that, guys. So what I want you to do is I want to do another drill with you guys. I want everyone to partner up. Find your buddy system. All right, quickly, come on. Everybody, and stand up and find a buddy. I'm gonna do a quick 30 seconds, I just want you opening each other. Before you open each other, use whatever opening you have, but I want the other guy, the critiquer, to look and see what he likes about it, or what he doesn't like about it. Find the faults. Maybe he's getting too close to you. Maybe you don't believe it, you know? Maybe it makes you feel uncomfortable for some reason. Maybe there's something wrong with his body language. I want you guys to do what I do for work every time and see if you can spot any faults with their opening, all right? So go. All right, guys, switch. Now the other one's a critiquer. All right. Can I get everybody seated now? Everybody, shh. Can I get everybody seated? Everybody seated. So, how many people here open flawlessly? Not any single problem. Oh, shut up. Libido.
Flawless victory.
Wow, so out of a room full of pickup artists and guys who've been doing this, one of the most basic things ever, opening, there's still some stuff you can work on. There's still something you can get away from it, right? That's why you have to keep these kind of things sharp. Because when you think like, yeah, I can open anything, well, guess what? I want to be in that, get a yes. I want to be in that, I want to make that 30-second rule. I'm actually going to make this a new community thing. 30-second rule. Get a yes in the new 30-second rule. That's what you're looking for every time. I'm also going to introduce to you guys a new type of opening system that I came up with. I actually didn't come up, I mean, a lot of people are doing it, but I collectively put them together into a new structure, because all my thing is what works, not just a how-to. So the new kind of opener I like is something I call a task opener. And this is something I've been doing for the longest time, and anyone who went with me, I showed this to, and they're just like, oh, they love it, right? But this is my first time actually introducing it to the community, or especially on film and whatnot. And the cool thing is you'll never be able to get caught out in it either. It's not going to be like the new opinion opener, so that part's great as well. A task opener is a socially acceptable way, perfectly socially acceptable way to open that gets a girl to do any kind of task for you. For example, one of my greatest openers, one of my defaults, is having a camera, right? It's probably the best tool in pickup, by the way. You should always have a camera anytime you're out. I'll just go up to any girl. You show me the bitchiest, meanest, most hard-to-approach girl in that club, or anywhere. Anywhere. I'll just go, hey, can you take a picture of me and my friends real quick? Or just me? Right? or just me? Just me? If I'm with my wing, it's my friends. If it's me, just me. Either way, I've never had that fail to open anything. They always. And now they're doing something for me. I'm in compliance right off the bat. They're taking my picture. I can make fun of them if it's a goofy picture. I can tool them a little bit. Like, no, take it again. Wait, move back a little bit, right? It gives me time in that set. I can transition very easily by showing her other pictures on my camera. Amazing. Another incredibly easy one is, hey, can I bum a cigarette off you? Yeah. Anyone who smokes knows the amazingness of that opener. For the non-smokers out there, I came up with another one. Hey, can I bum a piece of gum off you? Right? If I'm at a bar and I'm trying, I could turn to a girl next to me and say, hey, can you use some of that feminine charm to get the bartender's attention for me? Make it a game. See who can get the attention of the bartender first. If I'm at the beach, I mean, it goes on. If I'm at the beach, I can say, hey, do you mind watching my stuff for me? Giving them a task to do. And I can go in the water, come back, oh, so how's my stuff? You didn't take anything, did you? Now I can transition from there. It's great because it gets investment from the girl right off the bat, immediately, and it sets all the right kinds of frames for you guys. So I urge you guys to come up with your own. I want to see all different types of new task openers out there. I'm going to leave you guys to figure out other ways of going about it. All right, now in this community, I found a lot of funny things, a lot of confusion actually. And it's confusing. If it wasn't confusing, you guys wouldn't be here right now. If it was totally made sense, if everything was crystal clear, you guys would have learned this, read something out there, and then implemented it and be done, right? But how many people here have heard conflicting ideas or theories on something, just at this convention alone? Exactly. It's confusing, and I don't mean to add to that confusion. I don't want to, but everyone's going to have their own different styles. But it's a problem in this community, but it's also the beauty of it as well, because you find stuff that works best for you guys, right? But here's just some confusing things I've seen about this stuff. Be authentic, but model someone else. Model someone better than you. Be indifferent and make her chase, but be persistent and plow through resistance. Understand the game follows patterns, but know the game is always different. High-value guys are sexual from the start, yeah? But high-value guys make the girl work for their interest. Be outcome independent, yet always push for the close. Assume attraction, yet always watch for indicators of interest or disinterest. And my personal favorite, Be unreactive to everything she does and calibrate to every single thing she does. Right? This is a very confusing play. I mean, a guy coming into this, you can see how he can be like, what the hell? What does that mean? So how do we battle through this? Because when I first got into it, I was just royally confused. I didn't know where to go. Because of this confusion, I've seen funny things by a lot of the guys in this community. For example, I've seen a guy go to a club, loud-ass club, and try to do an opinion opener, where he'll go something like, excuse me, let me get your opinion on something. I gotta get back to my friends. Just go, what? I said, like it doesn't work. But that's what he knew to do. That was his opener. I've seen a girl compliment a guy, and he'll turn to her friend and go, oh my God, is she always like this? I hope so. I've seen a girl try to get sexual with a guy, and he'd go, hey, easy now, we need to be wined and dined first. Easy, or hands off the merchandise. You're punishing negative, you're punishing good behavior by doing that. Guess what she just learned to do? Don't touch. I don't like that then. Another great one. I know a guy who ran everything perfect, right? He got this girl down for the same night. Everything was done. He took a taxi with the girl back to her place. It was all set in stone, right? She was like, come up to my room. But he knew somewhere in the community, he said, don't supplicate, right? So when he come down to pay for the taxi, he goes, you're getting this, right? And she's like, excuse me? He's like, oh, I'm paying for the taxi. Guess what? He didn't get the girl that night. He didn't even get up to her room. She paid the taxi, he's like, later, and she walked and left him. Why? Because somewhere out there it said, don't supplicate. Because he thought, oh, I'm alpha. I don't pay for taxis. You also don't get laid, apparently, at that point. Right? So you have to know how to use these things properly. So the way to do that is understanding the purpose of what we're trying to do, the purpose of everything. It's basically the mentality of the why versus the how. Most guys come into this and they want to know how to do things. How do I do this? How do I do that? Every question I get from now, everyone is always, how do I do, how this, how that, right? Just once, I want that guy to come up to me and go, why do you think this works? Or why is this? I know this works, but why? Why do you think that works? I've seen it work, but I'm just curious why. That's a guy who's looking for the purpose behind something. That's a guy who's trying to really figure it out, not from face value alone, but because he wants to implement it in other areas. If you know what works, you will come up with 1 billion how-tos on your own. I talked about getting best natural game and whatnot. I started from a place of a 10-hour, I talked about this last year, but I came from a place of a 10-hour routine stack. From going from that to best natural game, I had to figure out why instead of how all the time. That was the switch. The other one is X guru versus Y guru. This guy says that. Oh, but this guy says that. But you see, it says this guy says that. It almost becomes like a religious debate, right? It's like a bunch of rabbis sitting at a table trying to figure out what the real text is trying to explain and misinterpret and trying to interpret the words of the gurus, right? You have a brain. You're intelligent guys. You can figure this out yourself. You can see what works. You want to theorize and see what works and what doesn't? Try it. Just go out and try it. Experiment. Right? Yeah, if you see a guru or some guy out there who's teaching this stuff and he seems right for you, by all means, go with that. But at least pick one system, one type of thing, and give that a legitimate chance. I'm all about mixed pickup arts and get using the best of everything. But you need a solid foundation first. And then when that's your style, that's your way, then you can take what you want from other areas that fits that style, that fits that way that is you. A quote from the Buddha I want to give is, question all that I teach you. Whether it's myself or whether it's anyone else on the stage, question it. Again, you're intelligent men. I've talked to every single one of the guys in this room. One of the coolest things about the 21 convention. That I gotta meet every single one of you. I gotta take you on field. I gotta laugh with you guys. Every single one of you are intelligent guys, and normal too for the most part. No, you're all normal. You guys are like normal, intelligent guys. And okay, when I got into this 4 years ago, that was not the case. Community was weird back then. Like really weird. But you all have head on your shoulders. You are thinking about this. You can figure this stuff out. We can help you. I want to. I can take off massive learning time. But ultimately, you have to question it, and you have to see if does that make sense for me? Does that resonate? Everything in pickup has a purpose. You have to know this tool, what these tools are used for. If I did a boot camp where I showed you guys everything I know, I can just put my brain in you, right? What you're going to see is a toolbox. Maybe there's a hammer, a screwdriver, a wrench, whatever, right? But if I'm going to nail a nail to the wall, I'm not going to use a wrench. I'm going to use a hammer. And a way of understanding which tool to use is understand cause and effect. What does this do and what effect does it have? And if you understand the purpose of it and the cause and effect relationship behind what you're doing, then you're going to start getting better. Otherwise, you're just doing things blindly. Figure out what these tools are used for. So I'm going to ask you guys a question. What's the purpose of pickup itself? Is it attraction? These are the three answers I usually get. Attraction? Well, if you think it's attraction, that's only a small piece of the puzzle. There's a lot of more stuff to it than just getting a girl attracted to you for pickup, right? Is it sex? Well, if it's sex, you're going about this really the hard way because it is massively easier and cheaper to just go get prostitutes, right? It is. This is a really hard thing to, a very expensive habit. Man, and if you think, oh yeah, but I want continuous sex, right? Well, guess what? You'll take the girl on dates. You got to do all kinds of stuff, for this girl. I'm paying for stuff. Like, it adds up. Ultimately, if you want to just get sex, just go to a prostitute, man. It really is that much easier. Relationships. It's a great thing. Not for me. Not at this point in my life, it's not what I'm looking for right now. Down the road, I definitely see myself taking part of that. But ideally, that's just one type of goal. It's a noble one. It's a great one to have. But some guys don't want that. Some guys want to just go out and have fun. Some guys want to enjoy just doing their own thing. Right now, my mental energy, my effort, my investment is in this. It's in helping you guys, developing my business, traveling, that kind of stuff. I don't want to have to think about, cementing a style relationship with someone. Eventually, yeah, but I have other goals for this right now. So it's up to you to figure out what your goal is. So then what is the purpose of pickup? It's leading. It's leading into whatever goal that is. But before we're talking about these are just simple goals that you can have, the purpose of pickup itself is understanding how to lead properly to get to wherever you want to go to. What I find is leading is the main difference between an intermediate guy and, is the main difference between an intermediate guy and an advanced guy. Beginners, their problem is they can't open right. They can't open, they can't approach, whatever. Then you get intermediate guys with the two problems, they can't sexually escalate, or more important, they can't lead it. They just don't know where to take it. And the thing with leading is it doesn't matter what your style is. You can run anything, any method, any style, any way of going about it. I guarantee with that style, you're going to have to lead. It's your job. It's your job as a man to make that happen. That's what we're learning. All of this, what we're learning, is how to go from point A to point B. It's how we can lead that progression. I mean, a lot of great speakers are going to be talking about on that importance, that needing to be the dominant one. I love a book called The Way of the Superior Man. It talks about how it's a man's job to be dominant, it's the woman's being submissive. Not saying this from a negative perspective, saying, oh, women should be submitting to us and they're for us. That's not what it's about. You're saying on an internal level, they want you guys to take control. They want you to be the dominant one. They want you to make it happen for them. I had a girlfriend, and the best thing I ever did for her was when she had a birthday, I said, honey, guess what? I have your whole day planned out. I know everything you like, I know everything you don't like. I have a surprise for you. Your whole birthday's gonna be a big surprise, and I'm gonna take you through that journey. Her eyes lit up, she cried. It was exactly what she wanted, right? I could have done the pussy thing and just been like, so what do you want to do? I'll just do whatever you want. But no, I led that. And I gave her an incredible day that she thanked me for, right? Same thing with the pickup. They want you to take control. They are rooting for you. All right. Without knowing how to lead, it causes a 2-hour set that goes to nowhere. That's a very intermediate problem. When you have these sets, you're just running them and talking to them, and you're realizing, this is just being polite at this point. We're just having basic conversation. This isn't going anywhere. Yeah, I can try to rationalize in my head as I'm making comfort, but you know it's not. You know you're just wasting your time at this point because you don't know where you're going. So how do we stop that? Know where you're going. From the first month, I had that mindset, always. I remember we come up with it, the idea of mini goals. If our ultimate goal in a pickup is to have sex or relationship, then a mini goals is every possible goal that leads there. Now, a beginner will have mini goals that go into this kind of structure. Open, attract, number close, date, sex, right? Those are my mini goals. I bet a lot of you guys saw a pickup in that kind of terminology of, I have to open, I have to somehow attract this girl, maybe I'll get a number close, take her out for a date or something, and then sex will happen, right? That's how, if I pick apart what most guys come to me, students, that's their mini goals. The advanced guys have many mini goals. And way more than that you can even put on a PowerPoint slide. I got 200 mini goals. But let's look at an idea of an advanced guy's mini goals. Pre-open, open, transition, establish keynote, befriend the obstacles, learn the logistics, find commonalities, number close, mini isolate, pump her buying temperature, total isolate, now lead her around, build some sexual attention, kiss close, bounce her out of the club or go for a date, and then sex. This guy, the advanced guy, is always going to know where to take it. So let's say I just got her number, right? Once I'm getting a girl's number, guess what's going through my head? Someone.
What's going to happen next?
What's going to happen next? I'm there, though. I already know what's going to happen next. If I got her number, I'm going to mini isolate. That's what's going through my head. I got her number, what's next? Oh, okay, mini isolate. So now my game is, how can I mini isolate her? I'm not thinking about how I can get her to have sex. I'm not worried about kiss closing. I'm not worried about anything. The only thing I'm thinking about is, how can I mini isolate her? Because I know that'll take me one step closer to my ultimate goal. The rest doesn't matter. It's just that mini goal that matters. So what I want you guys to do is take a piece of paper and at the top of it, write mini goal, mini goals. And not now, some point at home, later, you're going to write out as many mini goals as you possibly can. And every single month, I want you to add to that list something. Maybe it's 2 things, maybe it's 3 things. Whatever it is, add to it. Because the more mini goals you have, the smoother your pickup is going to become. All right, last thing, having a mentor. That was the final piece of the puzzle for me. My mentor you met already, and great guy, solid game, AFC Adam. That was 2 years ago. When that happened, that was the final last piece that I needed. I just needed someone who can help show me the way, someone could critique me. Because a mentor can do 2 things for you that you can get from nowhere else. And they'll give advice specifically for you that's not generalized. Everything people say up on the stage, every ebook you read, every product you see, even anything you do in this community is generalized. I have to, doing this talk for, even right now, I'm giving a talk for everyone. Yeah? I like to believe it's a good one. I like to believe everyone can take part of this. However, if I was someone's specific mentor, I can give them advice specifically for them. I would know exactly what your problem is and what you can do to now fix it and start helping yourself. That's only a mentor can do that for you. The second thing is he can show you how it's done instead of just telling you. It's one thing to read about it. It's one thing to hear it. I don't know about you guys, but I'm a visual learner. I remember my huge sticking point was I couldn't make out with a girl in a club. I want to learn how to do that. One day, I went with a guy named Volatile, and I saw him make out with a girl right in front of me, and then it clicked. I go, he did it. I just saw it. If he can do it, I can do it. It wasn't just something on a piece of paper anymore. I saw it in front of me. And then guess what? That night, I got my first makeout because I saw it in action. And only a mentor can help do that for you. So what are the kind of mentors that you can find? Well, you can find a specific guru. You can do boot camps where you will get personalized instruction. Layers are really great. I found that to be awesome. You'll find advanced guys in the layers who will look out for you. Naturals, they might not be able to explain what the hell they're doing, but you'll sure see a lot of cool stuff. And best one, women. I learned more from women at this point than I do from anywhere else. Hell, even simple stuff. Like literally, I was just in Sweden for the 21 convention there. in Stockholm. I met a girl, and she showed me this thing. Can I have somebody come up on stage real quick? Tease, yeah. She showed me this funny little trick thing I do, and I like it now. She goes, white man, black man, Batman.
Nice.
I just like that, thank you. It's simple little things. You know what? You guys read fear reports or lay reports, right? The problem with that is it comes from the guy's perspective. You know where I get my lay reports? From women. So while a guy thinks, guess what? Yeah, man, I negged this girl, and that's it, man. She wanted to sleep with me after that. I talked to that same girl, and she goes, I had nothing to do with that. Actually, I just like the fact that we both like the Beatles. That was really cool, and when I heard that, I wanted to sleep with him. Well, guess what? Okay, I got that now. I'm going with what the girl just said in that case. I'd rather hear her side because she knows what made her think I want to get with this guy. She knows what happened. We can only guess. So I learned so much having women around as my mentors and having those women around me in my everyday life. How many people here have 5 female friends, close ones, that they can go out anytime and just hang out with? Some of the hands went. All right, good. That is something that massively useful you guys could have. If you don't, I would suggest stop pickup entirely and go out and get those 5 female friends. Go approach girls now, just befriend them until you got 5 solid female friends. So with all of this, I can help, and I want to help if you choose. It's always an honor to help anyone who comes to me. I have 2 websites out there right now. The first is Psych of Game. It's my own personal blog. There's a lot of Fuji. There's a lot of great information on there. My own, from motivational posts like transformation to how to sexually escalate everything. And I try to update as much as possible. There's lots of cool videos and whatnot I put up there. And you can find out about any kind of services I do, boot camps, personal coaching, all on that website. The other website I have is girlattract.com. And what that is another website where I do monthly videos on all the how-to stuff, from a video on how to approach, to day game, to what to do if you invite a girl over to movie night and you're sitting here and she's right here, and you have this space of doom in between you, right? And I take questions all the time, from the most broad stuff to the very specific thing, right? And I upload these videos. It's free for everyone. That's my cool thing with you guys, right? It's free. You can go on there. You can see the videos. There's a VIP membership that I do have. For the guys at this convention, because, dreams demand, anyone who types in 21 when they sign up or register, first month free. All the videos on there, you got to see yourself. If you like it, cool. If not, I hate you. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, if not, it's fine. So wrapping up. Success is never final and failure never fatal. It's courage that counts. Where do you think these wise words came from? Any idea? From Psych. What? No, not from Psych. I keep these words on me at all times in my wallet. They come from a fortune cookie I saw. Wise words of a fortune cookie. But when I saw it, my mind blew because these words resonated in me more than almost anything I ever saw. And this is like getting the most destroyed piece of paper I've ever had, but I've kept this around me for the last 2 years or so. Basically because, I'll break this down. Success is never final. I'm always going to be a student. As much as you guys, I'm one of you. As much as I might be the guy standing on the platform. I might be the guy on stage right now, mic'd up. But I'm still in this community myself. I'm still, finding my path. I'm still always trying to improve. It's a never-ending process. You find me any guy who says, I have all the answers, I have it all figured out, I'll show you a guy to stay away from. It's never final. And if you feel at any point, you know what, lately there's been an actual upsurge of guys coming up to me saying, oh man, I got this figured out. Oh yeah, I know this stuff. Yeah, I'm already at that level. I'm really good, man. That's a horrible mindset to have. That's a horrible mindset because you're stopping any progress from happening. Success is never final. And if you're coming from that mindset, you're stagnating. And it's just an ego defense mechanism that's just very see-through as well. Failure is never fatal. How many people here know someone, yourself or someone else, who's gotten blown out of a set? All right, now how many people here know of a guy who got blown out of his set and died because of it? Not surprising with libido. Point is, it's never fatal. You will survive. You will live to tell the tale, right? If you fail, then you learn something, and you can move on. You can do it again. And that which doesn't kill us makes us stronger. And finally, it's courage that counts. It's courage to go out day after day after day, to be the guy that sits on that bench crying in the rain and knowing, even then, that I'd be going out the next day to implement this all over again, to rework that grind. No matter what, that's with the courage of stepping out and saying, there's my dream girl, I'm gonna go talk to her. And it doesn't mean not feeling fear. It doesn't mean being just like, oh, I'm super courage and super brave and whatnot. No, that's not it. Courage is feeling the fear and doing it anyways. People say, oh, I'm scared right now. I know you're scared. You know what? I'll admit this right now. I will still get approach anxiety sometimes when I see a girl I want. Difference is, it doesn't stop me. I feel it as well. I know the feeling. I've showed you where I came from. That little, that little fat kid playing Magic the Gathering back in the day, right? He was scared shitless. But he did it. And if he can do it, that means you can do it too. It just takes courage. It means just putting yourself in that line of fire, knowing you will survive. It's not fatal. I'm actually really happy that I get to be the last one to wrap up this convention, because if nothing else, if you remember nothing else from this entire experience, whether my speech or the whole thing, understand that. If you just have courage, if you just go out there and you just feel that fear and do it anyways, you will see that progression. You will be that 3%. Thank you, guys.